Good afternoon, ma'am and Triton. We are the group 3 and today we will be having a short discussion on the third principle, which is principle C, integrity. So let us start with the definition of the word integrity.
Okay, so I'll start by reading what's here on our PPT. Okay, so let us first define the word integrity. Integrity is defined as the practice of being honest and adhering to strong moral and ethical ideals and values in a constant and unwavering manner. Integrity is defined as the honesty, truthfulness, or accuracy of one's actions in ethics. So in simple words or explanation, integrity focuses on a psychologist's honesty, whether it is in research or in practice. So sa lahat ng pagkakataon, may nakakakita man sa atin or wala. Psychologists should never attempt to deceive or misrepresent. So this third principle is nagfo-focus siya kung ano ba yung mga hindi natin dapat gawin as a psychologist. Kasama dito yung pagfa-fabricate ng data, pagmamanipulate ng data, having fraud, and fabricating results. So, deception, though minsan gumagamit tayo ng deception sa research natin, pero yung kapag hindi na siya healthy deception, so hindi natin siya tinotolerate doon. Psychologists should never attempt to deceive or misrepresent. And psychologists, we should always strive for transparency and honesty on our practice. And the next slide.
So yun, what is principle all about? Babasahin ko yung nasa PPTs. Principle is all about to behave in accordance with ethical principles and act in good faith, intellectual honesty, and fairness. It means that to encourage psychologists to engage in transparent practices within all aspects of the field of psychology, with oneself and others. Example, professors are obligated to teach accurately. So, ibig sabihin po nito ay yung principle na to ay tumutugon sa pagiging honest nila sa mga binibigay sa atin na information. Tapos, dapat sila ay may pure intention na gawin ito. Yan, no? Next.
So, according to APA Ethical Principle C, integrity, the psychologists seek to promote accuracy, honesty, and truthfulness in the science, teaching, and practice of psychology. In these activities, psychologists do not steal, cheat, or engage in fraud, subterfuge, or intentional misrepresentation of fact. Psychologists strive to keep their promises and to avoid unwise or unclear commitments. In situations in which deception may be ethically justifiable to maximize benefits and minimize harm, psychologists have a serious obligation to consider the need for the possible consequences of and their responsibility to correct any resulting mistrust or other harmful effects that arise from the use of such techniques. So, in research and practice, psychologists should never attempt to deceive or misrepresent. Deception in research can take the form of fabricating or manipulating results in some way to attain desired results. Also, psychologists should strive for transparency and honesty in their practice. When deception is used in research, which may involve the use of confederates or not fully revealing the true nature of the research, psychologists must make efforts to mitigate the effects. This type of research deception must be justified and the possible gains must outweigh potential drawbacks. The use of deception should be minimal, not result in distress, and be disclosed at the earliest possible opportunity. In other words, the benefits of the deception must outweigh the cost. Next.
So, to better understand about this principle, let's look at several scenarios. First is this case scenario number 1. Catherine is an established research psychologist. Her works have consistently yielded significant and impactful results over the last 10 years. However, her most recent research did not turn out the way she expected and seemed inconsequential. Not wanting to taint her reputation, before she published her research, she changed the results to some degree in order to make her work favorable. So dito makikita nga natin na na-violate niya yung principle of integrity kasi pinalitan niya yung result ng research niya para mag-work sa favor niya. Kung pinahahalagahan niya yung principle ng integrity, dapat nag-a-adhere siya sa ethical ideals at values niya na hindi na suswayed ng kung ano yung gusto niya. Tapos, kahit na sabihin natin na for some time, na-save niya yung reputation niya, in the future, madidiscover din ng mga future researchers na magte-test uli ng research niya o magre-review ng research niya na mali pala yung ginawa niya at nagpakita lang siya ng fabrication of data. Next.
Good morning. So, for the case scenario 2, Gio is a military psychology in a well-known armed forces camp base in the Philippines. As a military psychologist, they are responsible for performing psychiatric evaluations, assessing and treating mental and emotional disorders, and offering counseling services. Yesterday, she assessed a soldier, and as a result, he has a post-traumatic stress disorder, without Gio knowing that the soldier that she assessed was involved in a case. The court wants to check Gio's assessment, and if that shows that the soldier is mentally stable, he will punish in jail. The general talked to Gio and wants them to alter the soldier's assessment and diagnosis in exchange of money. Since Gio is in need of money, she altered the assessment and says the soldier is mentally stable. In the end, the soldier was punished for 5 years in jail, and Gio got the money as they promised. So for this case scenario, as we see, na-violate ni Gio mismo yung principle of integrity because minanipulate niya and pinabricate niya yung assessment niya sa client niya and nag-lead ito sa harm. So we as a psychologist, we should strive for honesty and transparency. And sabi nga din na we should maximize the benefit and minimize the harm. Thank you.
So ayun, scenario number 3. Brando is a psychiatrist and his work has always been good and honest. However, on the day he needs money to pay off his large debt, he has a client who offers him a large sum of money in exchange for changing the result of his diagnosis for their own gain. Brando fabricates or manipulates results in some way in order to pay off her massive debt. So ayun, kita naman natin na si Brando is na-violate niya yung integrity na bilang psychiatrist since na binabago niya yung result na dapat hindi naman na. Dapat lang psychiatrist is mag-strive for truthfulness nga. Kagaya nga ng sabi sa 1 tsaka 2 na scenario is dapat psychiatrist is strive for the truthfulness.
Lastly, let us talk about some terminologies that may or may not have been discussed in the previous slides. So let's start with deception. Deception is when a researcher gives a false information to subjects or intentionally misleads them about some key aspect of the research. This could include feedback to the subjects that involves creating false beliefs about oneself, one's relationship, or manipulation of one's self-concept. Next is debriefing. Debriefing is a procedure that can be used at the end of any research activity, regardless of whether deception has been a part of the study design. Participants should be given a simple, clear, and informative explanation of the experiment's purpose and methods, as well as a bibliographical citations directing them to the additional resources on the subject being studied. Lastly, dehoaxing is a process of convincing the subjects who have been deceived as part of a research study that they have, in fact, been deceived.
So ayun, scenario number 4. Brando is a psychiatrist and his work has always been good and honest. However, on the day he needs money to pay off his large debt, he has a client who offers him a large sum of money in exchange for changing the result of his diagnosis for their own gain. Brando fabricates or manipulates results in some way in order to pay off her massive debt. So ayun, kita naman natin na si Brando is na-violate niya yung principle of integrity because
So that's all. Thank you for listening, and we hope you pick up a thing or two in our mini discussion. Bye.